Today is October 3rd, 2025. You gotta think the cartel basically handed Michelle and her family over to the police and the FBI on a platter on September 30th, 25 at 1 o'clock in the morning when that biker showed up outside my client's. 1 o'clock, I heard revving of a motorcycle, and it was like hell breaking loose of confessions. Hell breaking loose of confessions from her. That girl sings like a canary. All you gotta do is confront her, and she sings like a canary. Back in 23, I was out in North Canton, and I drove to work that day, and I thought, where's my harassers? I went to get something out of my car. Off in the distance, some girl said, they said you framed her before, and nobody would show up and harass her. Did you frame her before? She's like, yeah, it's like we framed her before. You don't tell anybody, I'll give you money. That's where March 27th, 25. They said it was Officer John. His name's not John, he's not an officer, he's an agent. He dated Michelle on a rouge. Got her to confess of the doctor from before not being one of mine, works for them, and they had lied. That she doesn't know who he is. And when they bashed in the back of my head, they tried to kill me or leave me incompetent, and it didn't work. And then he broke up with her. April 17th, 25, I'm in Sheetz gas station in Hartville. And I'm setting out my car. Big government SUVs are driving around. She walks up to a bluish gray Bronco. Was talking to him in there. Said I talked to the police up there. They said, how stupid were you confessing to that guy that doctor from before was not one of hers but works for them, and they had lied. That he was one of my doctors and that I don't know who he is. Still don't. It's a scam. And when they bashed in my head, they tried to kill me or leave me incompetent. It didn't work. And as soon as I confessed to that guy, he broke up with me, and I really liked him. Okay. Well, where they have talked about the guys running this since the beginning, they found out this whole thing was Michelle and her family's dad says some drug dealers, and they ran this big scam to pay them back. This whole thing is. They told everyone, no one's allowed to say a word to me again in my life. They lied to them. They tricked them. They're not smart enough to be like Dave. When the cartel found out he lied to them, he fled the country forever. They're not smart enough to join Dave in the Philippines. You know what the cartel did? Their response? Hand him over to the cops. The feds. On a platter. Had a biker drive her down outside my clients. September 30th, 25, 1 o'clock in the morning. Wake up and thought, what's that? And then, does she even know who you are? No. If I go knock on that door and I ask her if she knows who you are, will she know who you are? No. No, I don't know who she is. Put the pieces together. You can figure out who she is, but I've never met her in person. He said, and you had somebody that doesn't even know who you are to have them raped and tortured because you were in debt, you and your family were in debt to some drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. You had her skull bashed in and she doesn't even know who you are? I don't want her to know who I am. I'm sorry. This was all over your family's debt to some of those drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. My God. You confront that girl, she sings like a canary. Even when I looked up September 13th, 23, when she was talking to her friend Matt, where the Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life because he let all those people be human trafficked, and it was your family letting them be human trafficked? And your family human trafficked people to pay off your debt to those drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. He said, I looked up September of 23, where the cartel had confronted her ex-husband, that those doctors from before were wrote up as fraud, that medication errors, and they encouraged them to sue those doctors for years. Did you know that? Yes. I'm sorry. And the other drug dealers had already confessed they photoshopped everything on her. Did you know that? Yes. I'm sorry. He even went about my husband and his family, where his family's been threatening to bash his head in, take him out to Youngstown, have an attorney find him incompetent, and throw him in a nursing home and steal everything he's got. And they're supposed to do it to me too, but they don't know what to do with me. Don't want to be floating in the river. I've already been bashed in the back of the head. I got the dentist size of ball beam hammer. They said it should have killed me. By the grace of God, I stutter now when I get upset. Had migraines for 2 years. Half my head felt like it was going to explode. And Michelle's sorry. Said, you told her husband's family about the scam of an attorney finding somebody incompetent and having everything signed over to him and taking him out to Youngstown? If they actually had something set up in Youngstown, it's ruined because you told his family and included him. I know, I'm sorry. See, they were threatening me that in 18. We'll have an attorney find you incompetent or insane, have everything signed over to him. I thought you were just being scary and mean. No, apparently it's a scam they're running here in Ohio. The law is if they said in extreme cases, if an attorney tries that to find somebody found incompetent, it is not their place. It's 1 to 10 years. They even tried. It's on Google. Oh, that guy confronted her about this whole thing is your family's debt to those drug dealers. Yes, I'm sorry. Well, they talked about somebody being in debt to drug dealers. Here, it's her family. It's her family. And then, if to figure out who it is, I told you December 18th, 24, some guy walks into Walmart 62. Karen didn't know who Michelle was until January, February of 19. No, I made sure of it. They told me that she threatened her. And if she threatened her, I didn't care what happened to her. And she didn't even know who she was. No, I made sure of it. I told the drug dealer that no one would want her after everything that was done to her, to leave her alone. I found out she's getting remarried. I knew she had it in her. Then if you take January 5th, 25, Walmart 62, investigators come in. What is this? Another FBI agent lied to a U.S. Marshal? She was weird with herself? We always knew it was photoshopped to washing herself in the shower, and they photoshopped that. And they had drugged her and told her to say it before. We always knew that. We got the agent over her case, saying he let all this happen because he thought she threatened his daughter. To find out she didn't even know who she was. Was the FBI getting even with her? Because they thought he threatened one of their daughters, and to find out she didn't even know who she was. Then you take January, 30th or 31st of 25. I was in Carrollton. Some idiot said some stuff to me, so I snapped back. And then I start going over how it was a medication error, medical malpractice, and fraud that almost killed me. Some guy across the restaurant went. And how Terry Coberly seen me almost being kidnapped. Okay? Well, we went to Walmart 62 that day. Guy from December 18th, 24 walks in. I already told these people none of this is funny. I found out, when I found out, she didn't even know who Michelle was. And he said, I found out Terry Coberly seen him almost kidnap her. Now I really feel bad. Also found out it was a medication error, made her sick before. I really feel bad. I told them when her ex-husband called down to my office. Tell him I wasn't there anymore. And that the police said she had rights. He was in it with my ex-husband. He's the guy from Maslin. Now, where they keep saying Melissa's divorce attorney, they said it's really sad we had to tell her who was actually doing it. Where they said, even the Louisville police on May 30th, 25, outside my apartment were talking, they found the original case. My ex-husband hired 2 men on his own. One said he was an attorney, so it made it legal. No, it don't. It makes it worse illegal. Of course it does. Okay. And they found the surveillance of May 26, 25, Walmart 62, where the cartel said this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemasons. Of the dirty doctor from before, not one of hers works for them, and they had lied. He was one of my doctors, and the whole thing's a scam from him. Okay? So, that guy is Michelle's dad. He's an attorney. And people came up and said it's actually Melissa's divorce attorney against John. And then Dave hired some guy named Pete on his own. That's who was doing it. I was in Carrollton like a month ago. Some girls were talking. That Melissa is a psycho. Do you know how big of a psycho she is? Her son went to divorce her. She had some guys go in and break in her home and set up button cameras stalking his mother. Because he's divorcing her. You don't go after someone's mother because their son's divorcing you. And then had somebody Photoshop a shower scene of washing herself in another room and their tapes. And then had a bunch of guys go in and drug her up and tell her to say stuff and had her beat and raped. What a psycho. Who does that to someone's mother just because they're divorcing you? Has her mother drugged for fake confessions and beaten, raped, and then photoshopped and things? Who does that? What a psycho. Oh, yeah. Then they're like, we all need to learn our rights. Fourth Amendment. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements, with a court order, without a conflict of interest. There's nothing else. Anybody else tells you anything different, they're lying. Learn your rights. It's important. I thought, good for you, ladies. Yesterday, I was in Walmart 62 on the October 2nd, 25. People were talking at something. She only remembers getting in contact with the well water. And that's why she thought it was making her sick. Get a shower, dry off, get in bed, then wake up with giant bruises, throwing up, heart racing, severely infected, almost passing out, or coming in, washing your hands, making a sandwich. I had a 2-liter Diet Coke with port in a glass, set it on the coffee table, go in and use the bathroom, and come back out after I washed my hands again, sit down, take a drink, and the room would go dizzy and black. People were talking. She doesn't even remember them walking up and stabbing her. Those drugs work so fast, she doesn't even remember them walking up stabbing her. I thought they laced my drink. They can't just break in people's home and stab them. People today were talking. No one ought to ever talk to Michelle ever again. Ever again. She admitted to human trafficking people to pay off a debt to some drug dealers. Her and her family. Yesterday in Walmart, 62 people were talking. Boy, that cartel handed her and her family over to the police. When they had that biker drive her down and get her in an argument to confess. Oh, it is very admissible. Very, very. Right on Google, if you're arguing with somebody in a surveillance area and you confess to a crime, it is very admissible. They did it on purpose. They know my car's blocked. People were talking in Walmart yesterday. The cartel said they're done. And they're done with that family. Oh, she sang and sang like a canary. How this was all their family's debt to some drug dealers. They said the guy's running is not paying for nothing anymore. Told everybody nobody better say a word to me again. How much more do you need, Agent John? Cartel handed that family over on a platter. Took someone who sings like a canary under police surveillance with a court order. Started an argument, and she confessed to everything. She didn't deny anything. Except for, I don't know who she is. And if she thinks that biker was scary arguing with her, wait till you get a hold of her. On the phone, I was still drugged up from where they had been drugging me up there, and I couldn't think fast enough. You were scary and mean on the phone. Real scary and mean. You wait till she gets you. You get a hold of her. She'll probably confess every crime she's done since she was born. But she admitted to human trafficking people to pay for those debt, her family's debt to that drug dealers. All kinds of people have admitted to hearing it. They sold the login, remember? The cartel handed her to you on a platter. A full confession. that all this happened because they were in debt. See, they were talking even August 30th, 23. Some bad cars are driving by. And Fred Martin, okay, up in Barberton. Some guy's on the phone and said, do you want to pull over and meet her? You don't want her to know who did it to her? Did you get enough money to pay him back? See, that's where January 13th, 23, Maddie said where he races horses professionally. He knew someone who dealt drugs on the racetrack, went to him, said all the Ohio drug dealers know you didn't know that agent was in debt, that was over your case, to those drug dealers, and he let all this happen to pay him back. They were so angry, they were threatening his life. And I'm like, whoa, I don't believe in violence, but if this was a debt to drug dealers, they need to arrest him. He needs to go to jail. He said, it's not me saying it, it's them. I wanted to let you know. They're furious with him. It's not Agent John. It's Michelle's dad. Melissa's divorce attorney. Think about who they are. I don't know who he is. I've only seen him. That's supposed to be Michelle's dad, where Dave was dating her. I'm telling you, I think they picked Dave out. With her being Melissa's divorce attorney's daughter, they were in debt to those drug dealers. Needed a sap and a sucker to go along with it, where they called Dave dumb as a box of rocks, don't have enough common sense to stay out of stuff. And he goes along things for people's attention. They picked him out because he has no scruples and no ethics, that he wouldn't think twice of letting me get hurt for the attention of others. I think they picked him out as a sucker to run a scam. Like they have said, this whole thing was Melissa's divorce attorney against John. Dave hired some guy named Pete on his own. They were to make sure that Melissa got everything in the divorce and Dave during his divorce. And when the FBI opened a real case, they went after the FBI case. It's money. Now they want the drug dealers released that were helping them out in the case. And they want the case thrown. It's all a scam. You know, they told you in 18 and 19 for everything is a lie, for everything is a scam. In March or April of 24 in Walmart 62, they told you they made everything up on me to get away with this. Laughed at people for falling for it again. It's just a big scam. They have admitted August 4th, August 5th, August 7th, 25 of them knowing they used hypnotic drugs on me when they drugged me and told me to say it before. That's why I have no memory. I never had these people in my home. I never seen or talked to them. I've never met Melissa's divorce attorney or that guy Pete. Dave's supposed to hire it on his own. Do you understand? And I don't know who the dirty doctor from before works for them, and they had lied. He was one of my doctors. The most asinine stunt in the world. Up in Forest Grove Drive in Akron in June or July of 19, maybe August, some construction workers were talking. It's like a mean teenage stunt that went too far. Roofing someone and tell them to say something horrible, and then take a video of somebody washing in the shower and Photoshop that in another room. It's like a mean teenage stunt that went too far. They were beating, raping her. You know, I've had these idiots come up and they say, you shouldn't be allowed to live places, da 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 da. Why? for being a drugged up rape victim? Because you're lying on me? They tell people I have charges. Do you know what I have? One traffic ticket from 1989. It's been, what, how many years? 36? That's all I have. I just had an FBI background check. No violations. But they tell people, you should be afraid if she lives here. She has charges. I have no charges. They're lying. I call them the Pinocchio group. The liar, liar, pants on fire cult. I named them. They're, like I said, it's just them running around lying on her. And people harass me and join in. I look at these people like they're the biggest retards in the world. Michelle and her dad, and where they were, but what was it, last Sunday, I was up in Summit Mall, and they said that's the one, her ex-husband, his girlfriend, her dad, and his friends ran a drug scam on. Yeah. Michelle's dad and that guy Pete and their friends cannot break in private homes setting up body cameras on their own. Take videos of someone in the shower, and then July 24th, 25, they even verified it wasn't even me. The tape of Weird with Yourself supposed to be in a shower scene of washing yourself in the shower. That's why nobody knew about it. Huh? They put my head on somebody else's body. Body ratio wasn't the same. They photoshopped where they said they photoshopped everything they did. Huh? Like July 25th, 25, where some idiot said something stupid to me, and I went off, and Bob Evans went over to Walmart 62. When the investigators from 18 show up, told that couple never to say a word to her again. I interviewed John years ago, said nothing bad ever happened to him. So did all our boys. Well, they're supposed to have da-da-da, drugged her and da-da-da, told her to say da-da-da. He was mad. Well, they've been bringing that since 18. You know, when I was up in Summit Mall last weekend, I was in Macy's sitting down in the bra section on a stool, and some guys walked by. Does she know we watch her? He said, yeah, she's an informant. He said, good, because I'd have felt bad otherwise. He said, it's not even funny. These people walked into an agent's office, said they were illegally monitoring her on their own, and we already knew it was photoshopped. That shower scene, to make her look weird, we knew it was photoshopped. And they said they had drug confessions, and they were drugging her for confessions. It wasn't even funny what those people were saying to that agent. And so Michelle's family and her dad and his friends cannot go around kicking in people's doors, setting up body cameras. Take videos of people washing themselves in the shower and Photoshop that in their own perverted little tapes. And then have their little drug friends walk up and stab somebody with a hypnotic drug, tell them to say something stupid, and then think they can steal from somebody they had beaten, raped too, and was human trafficking me out of that house because they were in debt to those drug dealers. Her family cannot do this. And what are you making fun of? A victim that almost died to save her family? A rape victim that the assholes drugged up and told to say stuff? You know, they roofied a U.S. Marshals kid twice, too. She moved out of this area for safety. They roofied my neighbor, Mike. He moved out of this area, too, in a hurry. Hard telling why. He came up to me. He didn't know how he got home, didn't know how he got money in his pocket, didn't know how he changed his shoes. Then tried to tell me he was a New York cop and thought I was pretty. He was stoned out of his mind. I'm like, go sleep it off. Checked on him later. He said he had went back down to that bar, and they said in the middle of the second beer, he's telling people he's an astronaut. He was stoned out of his mind. I could have told him to say or do anything. He would never remember. He didn't even remember telling me he was a New York cop. You don't remember. In 19 at Faith Family Church, they told people they had mind-controlling drugs. I gotta go to work. But yeah, people have been walking around. Nobody needs to ever talk to Michelle ever again. She confessed she human trafficked people to pay off her family's debt to some drug dealers. We all heard her. And then her family was human trafficking people to pay off those drug dealers. And that's why all this happened.